Hey, in this lesson, we're gonna go over offensive attacks. Okay, so in Kali, we don't really have defense. Some people will say we do, but majority of people actually say we just don't have defense. We have counter offense. So we're gonna be learning regular offense, and then we're gonna be learning counter offense in this, and we'll see how one beats the other, and then beats the other, and beats the other, then it just all resets into a big circle. Okay, so first thing we have, or the first category we have, is single attacks. Now there are going to be 4 types of single attacks that we're going to cover. The first one, my opponent is standing here just in a sparring stance. She's going to be a good partner and just let me hit her. All right, so the first one is a single direct attack, and it's exactly what it sounds like. There's one attack, and I'm going directly in, and I'm hitting my opponent. This works sometimes, but sometimes you also get hit while doing this. All right, so the next one is going to be a single angular attack, right? And this just means that I'm not going directly into my opponent. So I could be stepping offline and hitting the leg. I could be doing something like a sidestep and a thrust and hitting the head. As long as I'm doing one attack and I'm moving at some sort of an angle, then this is a single angular attack. The next one we have is a fake attack, right? So I throw, and I like to do this, if you've been watching the classes, you'll know I like to do it with more of the double strikes, or it could be a stutter strike and go in, okay? So it's just kind of throwing them off. Sometimes they try to block this first one and then get hit. So that would be a fake. Next we have a redirect. So a redirect is pretty close to a fake, except for we're not going to hit the same target. So one of my favorite redirects is throwing this high line 3, and when she tries to block that, dropping down with a low line 4 towards the leg, right? So I redirected where my attack was, but I wasn't committed to the first one. I knew the first one wasn't gonna do anything, and I went directly into my next attack. So that is our single attacks. Next we have counter attacks. Okay, so the first one is going to be evade, and that's because I just don't like blocking if I don't have to. So I'm gonna have my partner here throw an angle 1. So I'm moving back. Now say she throws an angle 2. Move back, angle 1, move back, angle 2, move back. All right, obviously this takes some work. If you're not used to managing distance, you'll get hit. And even if you are, you're still gonna get hit a few times, so you should probably wear some protective gear. Next one is going to be block counters. So if you haven't already, make sure that you watch the 8 angle block counters. It covers this, right? So block counters real quick. If she throws an angle 1, if she throws an angle 2, she held it for a second. Again, angle 2. Okay, block and then counter, right? But if you notice I got hit, that's one of the reasons why I like to do evasion counters, because if I'm not there, I usually won't get hit. All right, so the next one is going to be an attacking block, okay? So an attacking block is usually just kind of crashing in with a block. So on this one, as she's winding up for an angle 1, we're gonna do this off an angle 1. Actually, the way you'll probably see this happen more often is they just finished an angle 2, and then they're about to throw an angle 1, and then you crash in for the block. Now, what you do after this doesn't overly matter. It could be as simple as just grabbing on. I could go, and same thing, she throws the angle 2 first, and then goes into the angle 1. I could go with a kick as I crash in as well. So you have a bunch of different options, but it's really just going in hard with the block, and a lot of times we end up moving into a range 4 scenario. Okay, after that we have attack by combination. Okay, so let's say my opponent here is a person that likes to do counter attacks, right? So maybe I did a few single direct attacks and she blocked and then countered me, right? And she's done that a few times, and I realized she's not really initiating, but she's really good at block counter or evade counter or what have you, right? So what I'm gonna do now is, instead of just doing one attack, I'm gonna do 3 attacks. So if she tries to go for that block counter, I'm hitting again and again. And it's a fight. You're probably gonna get hit at the same time a few times, but ideally you're more overwhelming and you hit them more times. So if I'm going in with it, and there's also different ways, right? I could be hitting with trying to hit the hand, then hitting hard, and then trying to cover on the way out, right? So that would be a setup, power, cover. Right? You have different ways to do it, but it's just attacking multiple single attacks chained together. And that's usually how you're gonna beat the counter attacker. Okay, so The next one, or the next category, is gonna be what I like to call drawing or baiting. So drawing would be like a short attack. So a short attack is where I have no real intention of hitting my opponent or my partner on my first attack. But what I'm gonna be doing is I'm closing the distance and making them think that I'm trying to attack them and that my distance management is just bad. Because if I stay here, we might just hang out here and nothing happens. Especially if she's a counter attacker, right? So I might go in and you stay there. I'm just a little bit too far and fully stretched arm, I can't hit her, but I get a little bit closer into the range. So now she thinks that she can hit me, which sets me up for my counter attack. Right? So I'm really just drawing some sort of attack, but I'm not going all the way in to where I could actually make contact where she would be able to do her counterattack, right? So I'm out here and say she wants to do a counterattack, do a block counter. I'm gonna throw a 1, right? Right? I'm throwing it super short to the point where it's a lot easier for me to get ready to counterattack her counterattack. Right? And that's the idea behind drawing or behind a short attack, is I'm just staying too far out. My next one is going to be obvious open targets. Right? So for this, we're going to use the example of a leg attack. A lot of people like to attack legs. So if I'm here and I know it, right? So I'm a little bit heavier on my back leg. This is pretty out here and exposed, and I'm showing it to her, right? I'm hanging out here. I'm going to pull it back. She went a little bit earlier than I was expecting, but I'm showing the attack. Boom. Right? Especially if I can see that their eyes are there, boom, and I can hit, right? So I'm giving her something to hit. Sometimes I'll do this with, say like a setup, right? If I'm in a cross chamber position, maybe she wants to hit this arm that's out here, and it's, hey, here, it's here. But then I throw and attack her arm while she's doing it. But it's showing. I'm trying to give her the option that I want her to do, and I'm trying to put that into her head. Just showing it. Maybe I'm here, right? And it's like, hey, look, here's an arm here. Again, again, again. All right? If you start practicing just simple things, again, sometimes you're gonna get hit. No, you can go faster, it's fine. All right, so sometimes they'll hit you, especially in practice, right? Same for the leg, right? Go. You're gonna get hit quite a few times learning how to do this, which is why you should probably use foam stuff at first and then go to wooden sticks. But be aware that it's just another option. I give a target and it's just obvious open, right? What's the obvious open target here? The hand, cool. Obvious open target here. Yeah, she likes playing around a lot, right? But the hand's there, they might try to hit that. If this arm's here, they might try to hit that. If I'm leaning back here, they might try to hit the leg. I'm trying to show them something that I want them to swing at so that I can hit them while they're swinging at whatever that target is. Okay, so that is the obvious open attack. And our last one is going to be attacking the attack. So go ahead and scoot back just a little bit. She's going to just throw an angle 1 and angle 2, and I'm going to throw an angle 3 and angle 4. So when she throws this, right, I'm just hitting at her hands or her arms as she's attacking. So this is a really good way to stop the person that does the attack by combinations, is just attacking their arms, right? In FMA, Kali, we call this quite often defanging the snake. Hit the arm that's swinging at you, and if they're not wearing gloves, chances are they're not going to want to swing at you very much anymore. All right, so these are our offensive attacks or our counter offensive attacks. Again, we don't really have defense in Kali, but for even more training and techniques, make sure that you check out the School Let's Train Martial Arts community.